Hi, welcome. I'm Rick Maurer, and this is my weekly broadcast. And I'm doing something new this year. The first 8 to 10 of these weekly broadcasts are going to be on something very simple. They're going to be on a sentence somebody said to me or something that I read that has had a huge impact. And when I remember those simple points, my work is better for it. So imagine a number of years ago, decades ago, I had just gone out on my own as a consultant. I'd been a teacher before then. Been out as a consultant, and I got hired by a government agency, small office, that was having problems with management and labor just getting along. It wasn't contractual kind of issues. They just didn't get along. And they said, could you facilitate a meeting for me? Well, I had just gotten out of an extensive training program. So I thought, oh, sure, I can do that. I do it. I really good. By the way, if you know me at all, you know that's not the end of the story. So they wanted to hold a retreat, and they scheduled it for this conference center, and it was 2 days, or an evening and 2 full days, something like that. And the one thing that I did really well is I had the good sense to hire a consultant to come with me. And so I hired Lloyd Richards, who was the most experienced organization development consultant I knew at the time. And he said, yeah, I'd be glad to. So we go there, and the room is pretty small. There's 70 people there. And it just barely held 70 people. So it was not a comfortable seating arrangement for people. But as you might imagine, management sat together, labor sat together. And it starts off, and I do the introductions, and here's what the agenda is, and all of that kind of stuff that puts you to sleep. And then I open it up for conversations. And I thought I had some good prompts to get conversation. And sure enough, people on one side said something the other side didn't like very much. And that side would say something, and I would facilitate, being the trained facilitator that I was. But I started to notice that it got hot, at least emotionally hotter in the room. And they're attacking each other. And I'm thinking, this is good. This has got to get out. But then the most amazing thing happened. Instead of attacking each other, they all turned and started attacking me. Just the facilitator. And I mean, it just, they're going about my head and neck. I mean, it really it's pretty dreadful. And finally, it got time to take a break. And I walk over to Lloyd. He'd been standing in the wings while this is going on. And he's smiling. He said, so how's it going, Rick? I said, what do you mean, how's it going? So what happened out there? And he said, yeah, it's a good start. He said, what do you mean it's a good start? They were attacking me. It was awful. This whole thing is falling apart. I shouldn't have done it. We've got to complete the reback. He said, Rick, there's been tension there a long time. There's been a storm brewing. And there hasn't been a good place to have an outlet. And now all those storm clouds are confined in this little room, and you're the highest point. So when lightning strikes, it's going to strike you. And that's what's happening. And it's probably going to continue to happen. And I said, yeah, but that's not productive. And he said, well, it can be. The way you're taking it now is like an old oak tree, then. Lightning hits and you just, you're a bomber, and then it hits again. He said, you just can't last very long doing that. He said, but you could stand there like a lightning rod. It's so the lightning comes in and it goes into the ground. So it's not attacking you. It's just going through you. Now, clearly there might be times when the attacks were going to be directed at me and I ought to respond to those. But in most cases, I was just the highest point. And so it was my job to be indifferent, if you will, and take in what I was hearing, try to feed that back to people, and try to make it safer for people to have conversations. And that's what happened. So that notion of standing there like an old oak tree and stayed with me for well over 40 years. And I'll be in a meeting and suddenly I'll think about Lloyd as if he's standing over my shoulder going, Red, you're the highest point. And I've just found that to be a really helpful thing. And so over the next few weeks, I'm going to give you some things like that. Sometimes they come from poetry, sometimes from pop music, sometimes from sports, anywhere where it's really simple, but it can allow us to stay on our feet and recalibrate and go, oh, yeah, I could do it that way. At any rate, I hope this is helpful. I would love your comments. If you're going to leave a comment, it would be great if you could leave it on LinkedIn. So that way, everybody else could see the comments and we could actually start a conversation. So for this first one, it's just for my email list and for LinkedIn. But pretty soon, I'm going to be adding Substack to that once I learn how to do it, and look forward to seeing you next week. Bye-bye.